In fact, it's a huge, oversized coffee mug. Just a second. Just put that back down.
I've heard you are really small, Eric.
Hello, and welcome to the Digital Download pop-up. This is quite different because I've been asked to be the guest editor this week, which is lovely. Filling big shoes from the previous guest editors, Tim and Brittany and William. So as you can see, everybody on the screen, you know the regular crew. We've got Rob, we've got Adam, Tim, we've got Alex, Lenwood, and the lovely Nick, who's just warned us that he might have to run away at some point. So I'm just letting everyone else know, full disclosure. I thought that'd be good. Everyone okay?
Brilliant.
We're amazing, mate.
Good week?
Fantastic.
Yeah, just waiting for the first bit of engagement to come in.
Just waiting for the first bit of engagement. Are we live? Have we confirmed that we're live?
We are live, yeah.
We are live.
We need engagement because it makes us look clever.
There we go. We've got.
There we go. Thank you.
Stay live. All the way from Esbjerg, Tiba Begeman is here. Hello, Tiba.
Hi, Tiba.
We should say hi because she probably says that in Denmark to her friends. Hi,
Tiba.
Hi.
And I don't know. Unfortunately, this is LinkedIn user. I don't know who LinkedIn user. I don't know who you are. For some reason, it's not coming through as
someone in the sunshine. If you could tell us who you are.
And Yanis is here for Handsome Nick.
Well, unfortunately, handsome Nick couldn't make it.
Yeah, so instead we got
so we got
an ugly twin.
And the lovely Russell Sim. We've got a big turnout from McCartney Underwater Technology Group today. This is awesome. And Andrew Slesser's here too, which is great. Russell Sim, great to see you. Great to see you. So what's actually happening here in front of us is kind of like linked to what we're going to talk about today, because all these people, Andrew, Tiba, Russell, Norbert, and all the people that regularly come in here, we're going to talk about quite possibly one of the keyest the word? Topics of 2022 for business professionals, and that's the importance of, and the growing importance of, building digital communities. So, there she is. Hello, Brittany. Hello, Brent. Good to see you. You should be here. You're in the wrong place. In the heat of the pandemic, we were constantly reminded about the critical importance of human connection and community. And now all you have to read in the business press is you don't have to read particularly deep into. It's Mark Swope, the lovely Mark Swope from Houston, Texas. You read more and more about companies placing the creation of an online community at the top of their to-do list. Yeah, watch out with that water.
Yeah. Nick's got a bit of a reputation, you know.
Absolutely. So big businesses, smaller businesses realizing now that creating communities, I mean, it's bizarre, right? The whole concept of, if we sell pumps to the energy sector, that's what we do. We sell pumps to the energy sector. Why would we want to build a digital community around the fact that we sell pumps to the energy sector? But now more and more often, it's because all these McCartney people are here. Now we read more about companies that are starting to put the idea of creating online communities right at the top of their to-do lists for 2022, or at least starting to consider it. So online communities, believe it or believe it not, I've been doing some digging on this, are expected to soar in 2022 as organizations seek to better connect and collaborate with their customers. There's a lovely study, which I might share in this chat, from HiveBright. 56% of professionals in this survey that they did, with a good couple of thousand people across a range of sectors, said that their leadership view community as more essential since the start of the pandemic. And here's one for Lenwood. This is playing right into Lenwood Ross's side of the tennis court. The quote from, according to the Direct Community Economy Report, corporates are moving from the CSR era to one of purpose as strategy.
Hey, I've been talking about it for a while now.
Yeah,
I just tee it up, you knock it out of the park, recognizing that their role and responsibility in the community that they serve, innovative customer brands are using a community-led approach to redefine what it means to sell to their customers. And Mike Scotland, what a legend he is. This guy here, you need to know about this guy.
It's stuck. I can't bring it. We're gonna have to do that. Have that up for the rest of the show, Eric. I think.
Has it stuck? It's stuck? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you should just say it. It's just beautiful. Just beautiful. It's the name of an online community that I've built, actually. So we've got all this change, all this. So in 2022, we can expect much more organizations, there's many more boardrooms now sitting around thinking, actually, regardless of the fact that we're maybe in a technical sector or in a sector that maybe this didn't matter before, the whole idea of digital communities is becoming super important. So I thought it'd be a nice thing to explore because it's one of my top 3 things for the year. Is this whole idea of creating communities. And I love the idea that in the past, the whole concept of building a digital community, maybe 10 years ago, we might have thought that might have been the sole responsibility and the sole domain of large marketing agencies with big hefty budgets. But now we see that actually someone with a bit of a will, someone with a bit of intelligence and a bright idea, a social media account and a laptop can do as much for building digital communities as big, probably more, because it's authentic and genuine than any big marketing company can decide to do. And that's what we're going to explore today.
I don't think intelligence has anything to do with it.
And now that you say that, I agree.
Well, thanks for coming, everyone. This was a rubbish topic to pick. Yeah, absolutely. It's a nation. It's a nation. It's a nation. So we're gonna explore the idea of digital communities from the start through to everything else. The dictionary, we have all the gang here, and we've also got a lovely special guest that around about past. I've asked Tim to bring them on. I don't know, are they in the green room? Our lovely guest, Tim, are they there?
No, not yet. No.
Hopefully they'll come, and that'll be excellent. Who is the very sort of living embodiment of this whole idea of digital communities? So, does anyone remember growing up and being part of, even if this is directly related or indirectly related? Do you remember as you were growing up being part of a community or part of a group that felt good?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Sure.
Because it may surprise people. I'm going to remind people that last week I was asked what I wanted to be when I grew up. And what I wanted to be was a footballer.
There's still chance.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's 2 chances.
Yeah. There's 2 hopes.
There's 2 hopes. Yeah.
And I actually played football. I actually retired from football at the age of 12. But up until there, I actually played football because I thought I was quite good. But when you go to a school and there's only 80 pupils for the whole of the up to the age of 11, you don't actually have to have very many people to actually be quite good at it. And I actually ended up. We played in the league. It was under 12s, and can't remember where we were in the league, but I actually played in the cup final. We lost, but it was a proper ground. Well, if you call Malvern Hills Football Club a proper ground, and what the thing was it was a community. We all knew that we had roles. There was people that had strengths and weaknesses. Mine was not in. I was right back in the changing rooms, and
put my light on here.
I was in defence, but we all had roles.
It's a giant.
And we knew what we had to play.
So, but there was that overriding sense of community. Anybody else got a memory about something that you were involved with, which felt like this is us and we're part of this, and it feels good?
Yeah, definitely. Gaming for me. I mean, it still is, and obviously for you as well.
Yep.
The Xbox when it first launched. And before then, PC gaming as well. I can distinctly remember. I mean, this was in the days of kind of early PC gaming. A game called Unreal Tournament, which was a first-person shooter, but you could type in game to actually chat with people. It was stunning. And I remember, I distinctly remember I was at university when I was playing it, and I remember one month I had a £530 phone bill from the dial-up.
From the dial-up.
Yeah. Do you remember dial-up?
No, what is it?
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, my father got me an Amstrad CPC 464 with the keyboard with the built-in tape deck and the green screen. And I subscribed to at the local newsagents Amstrad World. And it had page after page of code that you could type in.
Waiting there with your sweaty hands.
Sweaty little hands and 30 pence to buy Amstrad World. And the middle 4 pages were a pull-out code that you would and semicolon and
I
backslash
still like
backslash.
that analogy. That's what that's kind of how I see social. I see it as a video game. It's you're racing to amass followers, and you're existing in a digital world. It is a video game. To me, it's a video game. That's how I see
Right.
it.
Okay. Are you okay? Are you actually locked on?
There's not water in this.
Did you ever find though in those when you typed all this stuff in that it didn't work, and then next month it would come out and they say, "Oh yeah, well actually we missed this."
Yeah, there was a. So I spent
a
a weekend.
I've got a story.
A colon at the.
Yeah, a colon.
I've got a story around that. So 1 month there was a particular magazine me and my friends used to get. It was a Super Nintendo magazine. And 1 month they did. Do you remember? Anyone remember Mortal Kombat?
I do remember.
Sure.
Finish him.
1 month in April. 1 month they released a big long code that you had to put into Mortal Kombat on the SNES, and it would unlock the blood mode. But you had to balance a penny on top of the cartridge. 4 times I put this code in, and it was 2 pages long until I twigged that it was April the 1st.
Oh no! I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Alex, you've got a thing you'd like to. You remember heading down the old school disco, don't you?
I do. So when I was about 11, my parents split up. We moved 200 miles away with my mum back to her roots up in Hull, if anyone knows Hull.
Yeah.
It was incredibly scary because I had to go to a new school and make new friends. But every Tuesday night they had a kind of a community disco at the school, and so we would all meet up every week. And it really sort of helped to.
Can't stop now, don't you know? I don't want to let you go. Don't go. Did you have the big flock of seagulls thing going on?
Too cool for dancing.
Too cool for dancing.
But the one thing I remember was we'd every week after we'd not done any dancing, we'd go to the local chip shop and have chips and spicy salt, and used to love it. But as I was thinking about this session today, I was just trying to remember the name, couldn't remember it, Googled it, and apparently American chip spice salt, even though it's called American chip spice salt, it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
Wow.
It's a whole thing.
Is that like going out with just a shirt on in the middle of winter?
That's a Newcastle thing.
Okay.
But you're up. I remember I went over to visit some friends in Australia, in Perth, and they took us out and they put chicken salt on their chips. It's a sort of spicy salt, so I'm wondering if it's kind of the same. But this it's a whole thing, right?
Brendan's asking what a disco is. It's kind of like a really really rubbish prom. That's the best way I can describe it.
I used to have a friend that lived in Hull, and he said they had a little phrase: "You go up the tower for an hour." Is that right? There was somewhere called the Tower, and they went to the tower for an hour. No. Okay. That's good radio. So there's we can all link back to something that we were involved in community wise, and that we think, but exploring what communities can create for us and what the paths that they can open up for us in a business perspective. Alex, from the school disco, can you take us to Dubai?
I can. So 2015, moved to Dubai with the company I was working with at the time, and running a sales team, and really struggling to get traction and build relationships. So we started by getting a group of customers, managed to get a few prospects along and a few partners to like a panel discussion. Like we kind of called it a networking thing, and there was maybe 5 or 10 people in the for the first couple, and we'd do this every month or two. And after about 4 years, we were regularly getting 60 to 70 people together, and it was turning into a bit of an event. And it was really quite magical to see over the over the months and years, how people would start to look forward to coming to this thing, a relaxed environment. Sometimes we'd put food on, there'd be drinks, and it sort of grew into something that we didn't imagine it would do.
So that was from us. So you were struggling to get the kind of traction that you wanted in terms of relationships and conversation and the depth of relationship. So you set up this thing from nothing. Yeah, this is what I love, right? So someone just says, let's just set something up, and basically you set up a place where people could come and actually just chat and be humans together and be nice together. Put on a bit of food, put on a speaker, something like that, and all of a sudden, people are starting to really enjoy this experience. So therefore, they're becoming a little community around your thing. Did it help your business standing? Did it help where you were going?
Massively. So we made a point of saying, look, no selling. There was absolutely no selling. No one's going to talk about, the company and the products that we were actually selling. And we ended up selling. So, so it was quite magical. People would come, guards would be down, and inevitably the conversations would lead to commercial conversations.
Outstanding, because we're seeing more and more of that now, where organizations are saying, right, okay, there's the LinkedIn lives, all the social media lives that you can do. There's Nick and I were talking to a client the other day, saying, so in your sector, who is it that runs the most successful live stream on the topic that it is that you guys do for a living? Well, there isn't one.
Oh.
Wide open.
Yeah, there isn't one. So all that space for eyes on, activity, focus, people joining in, creating conversation and chat and all of that is wide open, right?
Wide open.
As we said before, if you've got a bit of intellect, notwithstanding Nick, if you've got a bit of intellect, a laptop, a webcam, and a social media account, and a bit of a spark about you, you can make a real go at this, right? You can build community.
Absolutely. Woo!
Absolutely.
So good. I'm fired up. It's so good.
You're fired up. You're fired up. Why don't we? In fact, well, if you're fired up, why don't we come to you next, Linwood? You've got something you want to share with us, which plays right into this.
Yeah.
You want to take
absolutely. Yeah. So, community, from my perspective, and what everyone's Eric has, kind of introduced today and talked about, and it could start with one person, right? And so, I actually shared. I wanted to share some content on that. Can I share that? Here, I'm going to share.
You may.
Here comes my screen. Okay, so the idea of building community or building a movement begins with one person with the willingness to learn, grow, and lead, right? And I call those people change makers. All right. And I'm sharing this post because, I have a community, and Sarah, who works with me, is part of that community, but she also has her own community that she nurtures on a regular basis. And last week or week before last, I shared a post about this idea of change makers. And this thing was viewed by like 150,000 people. And the reason is because there are so many people out there with something on the inside of them saying that they can make a difference. They can make a difference, right? And that's why I think this thing went viral. And that's what building a movement is all about. It's about, first of all, the change makers who are out there willing to do something. It's about empowering them to overcome resistance to change. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you're talking about changing an organization or changing a community or going so far as changing the world. There's always going to be some level of resistance to change. And then most important, it's about social connections, because the way you build movement is through people. right? Everybody has a different level of resistance to change. So if you can light a spark that starts to move from person to person, before you know it, you have a movement that turns into a huge community. And when movements are fully grown, they're revolutions. They're revolutions.
Vive
They're
la
revolutions.
revolution.
I only think of the
Yeah.
song Alice's Restaurant when you talk about starting a movement.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was actually talking to an innovator yesterday, and she was talking about how when she got into her organization, she had very high level resistance. Okay, they brought her in. We need you to come in. We got to create an innovation culture. And someone, not the person that brought her in, very high in the organization, resisted that, right? And she talked about how she did something called Wisdom Wednesdays. She just started it up. She couldn't get support for initiatives anywhere, so just said, "Well, I'm going to do this Wednesday Wisdoms and get people to come to lunch." And she's going to, have a guest who's going to talk about something, right, on these Wednesday. Next thing you know, she's got 100 people in the organization coming to these things every Wednesday. And I said, there you go. You've identified the change makers, the people who are willing to learn, grow, and lead. And you got to do that. So that's what I have to say about movements and community.
Do you think there are covert, uncovered change makers everywhere? That have never seen the
there
light
are
of day,
absolutely change makers everywhere. There are people all the time saying to themselves, I wish it was different. Somebody do something about it. Right? But the somebody is you. You're the somebody.
It's you.
Yeah, it's you. You're the somebody who can do something about it. And I think the way that we can get more positive change in the world is by empowering those people who really do have a willingness to make a difference. They just don't know how. They don't know how to do it. I mean, today it is so easy with social media, right? If you've got, to your point, Eric, a little fire in your belly, a laptop.
Yeah.
With a fire in your belly, you can start a movement.
That's right.
Do you know, it's funny. It's funny.
Very big one.
Every time we do this, I get about 6 titles for blogs, and I've written down, you are the somebody. Today it's so easy. Fire in your belly, start a movement. Yeah, I've definitely got that.
But I think that's certainly true. But I do think that the really big challenge here is that people default back into doing a sales pitch, whether it's individuals or it's organizations, because either because they recognize that their time needs to be spent generating revenue, or they default back into that because they assume that everybody shares their passion for what it is that they do. The most important thing in the world is this new expenses entering app to add onto your phone, because it just revolutionizes it. And it does make things better, but it's not the top of my hit list of things to do any more than it is most other people's. And I think that these movements are most powerful at the point that people recognize, further to your point, Lenwood, it's about the people. It's about bringing the people together. And the thing that was lovely about your thing that you did in Dubai, Alex, and the school disco and Tim's football match, about all of those things, was that it was people bonding over a particular thing or series of things or shared experiences or whatever it might be. And when you get to know the people, you get to trust the people. And then that's the platform upon which you introduce them or possibly even commission them to do something. But so often people put the cart before the horse. And I was going to talk about, and the best example we have for any of us is Eric's program that he runs on a Thursday morning.
Shameless self-promotion.
well, it's not, because it's not my show; it's yours. But the big live breakfast burrito is great because it is a bunch of people being themselves and having fun. And you go onto it and you watch Vanessa talk with passion about wines, not business related, just wines. And then we have some of your clients or connections sponsoring a prize giveaway for some Amazon.
It's usually Argos vouchers, isn't it?
Yeah. And we have people doing word of the week or a poem or whatever it is that are just things that we can all bond over. And you've done a great job of creating a platform where the audience take part in those activities, those shared activities that we all remember from going to the disco. And I get to know and like people that are on there, that are reading the poems or giving the word of the week, or people that are engaging with the content. And that's the point, isn't it? You build that sense of community, and then you can pick up the phone and speak to one of those people and say, I just wanted to have a chat to you. And that's how we build trust. That's how we've always built trust. And there's no shortcut to it. And when at the beginning you spoke about what we're going to do is, we're going to, companies saying we're going to make community the focus of what we do. I think they'll fail. And I think they'll fail because they will try to monetize it at the earliest opportunity. Yeah. It's like the old days about, when should you close? The answer is at the earliest opportunity. When should you monetize your community? At the earliest opportunity. And what you do is you chase the very people that are making it successful out of the door when you try to do that.
Or what they'll do is that they'll because they're so terrified of saying the wrong thing, they'll script it.
Yeah.
And it'll all be scripted and everyone will go, you're just reading it off a script, not interested.
Yeah, exactly. So Jonathan, what's your view on that? Our view is that we are a business-minded, centrally focused, global-focused solutions provider who's all, yeah.
Thank you, Jonathan.
In the world of ecosystems that we have solution-focused integration.
Yeah, we need some more people to lay some eggs on this. That would be really helpful.
And we need to make sure that we're tracking the KPIs for the BOEs and the RSQs.
Yeah, totally. Today's conversation is so scrumptiously, deliciously, edibly, tastily, good-hearted to me. Savor the flavour, the awesomeness in you, gents, sharing your delectable thoughts with us today. That is the best quote.
I love you.
Kenny is hungry.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yes. Kenny needs breakfast.
800 million people on LinkedIn, and there has never been a better quote than that.
That's the best quote ever that we've ever seen. Thank you so much for Kenny. Even. I deliberately didn't want to mention the burrito, but I'm so glad you did. Thank you very much. That's very good of you, and we enjoyed doing it. And you're right. So I think one of the reasons why it has achieved the success that it has today is our headline. Our headline principle is let's see if we can create a community. But let's have the first principle as funetize, not monetize.
Mm-hmm.
So let's ignore every opportunity to try and eke out some sort of weird corporate-y straight edge thing. Every single person that I know and love in my life likes music, likes fun, likes jokes, likes poetry, likes I'm Scottish, so everyone I know likes alcohol, likes wine, likes chatting and likes telling jokes and fun, and that's the people I like to be around. So there's no rocket science in the fact that if you put a venue where it's about music, fun, jokes, stories, express yourself, have a laugh, that's something that's at the core of the majority of people in the world, right?
So it's not about integrated ecosystems?
Not yet.
Next week.
Exactly. We are very lucky. Tim, can you just give me the nod? Are we all clear?
Yeah.
We're all clear. We are graced with the presence of Tracy Borreson. How are you?
Hello.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay? I am in my car.
Hi, Tracy.
We can hear you perfectly. And I must apologise. When I asked Tracy to come on the show, she said yes, because she's one of those people that will say, yes, I definitely want to be there. And then she said, listen, I'm going to be on holiday. So I'm going to be up in the mountains. Now, you live in Calgary, right, Tracy? But you're on holiday right now.
I do. I'm in Canmore, so I don't know if you guys can see the mountains.
We can see a
Are
tree.
there bears there?
Anyway,
are there bears?
there are. Well, there's not bears in town, but there are bears.
They're not just walking about on holiday.
There's not bears outside my car right now.
Tracy, yeah, you're on holiday with the family. I think you've probably sent the family away to get some breakfast or something, right? So you
The
can
family
do
is still sleeping, which is why I'm in my car and not in my hotel room.
Right, fair enough. The reason we've asked you on is because you are the living embodiment of this whole idea of creating digital community, right? So you, I think just over a year ago, you set up Your Business Peeps.
Yes.
Take it away.
So-
Why did you start it, and what's it all about?
So, and I don't know about you guys, but I know a lot of people, and this is what happened to me during the pandemic, was that like I was used to networking locally, right? There was always networking events and my company was hosting things. And so there was always opportunities to meet and greet locally. And then when the pandemic hit, all of those disappeared. And I am an extrovert by nature. And so that did not work very well for me. I was like, okay, where do I meet new people? Because I love meeting new people. And then I thought, well, I have all of these amazing people on my LinkedIn. I probably should just start to network with them and learn more about them, have coffee chats, virtual coffee chats. So I embraced the virtualness of relationships. And to me, a community of people is a group of people who join in fellowship to move towards a goal. And I was very lucky to find a lot more of those people online than I found locally. Which also, interestingly enough, has led me to more of the local people who are also in this community now of mine. And so I co-host the community with a very good friend of mine, Tara Argo, who actually lives in Norman, Oklahoma. And we met online. We actually met in a coaching program that we were in. And it was a really big coaching program. So there were 400 and something people going through this program at the same time. And they would have these weekly Q&A sessions. And that's where everyone was supposed to bond. And we were all supposed to become this great community. And like 5 people would speak and the coach would just tell people what to do. And I was like, is this really a community? It did not meet my definition of community. So I, being the person that I am, decided that I'm one of those change makers that Lenwood was talking about, right? I'm like, I don't like this. No one else is doing this a different way. So I'm just going to go and create it. I'm just going to create it. So I started off with like a Facebook group, and my Facebook group was free. And it really was just an opportunity for people to come and practice being themselves. So here's the interesting thing, because you guys were talking about monetization, and I maybe have a little bit of a different perspective on that. And the point is not to monetize it as soon as possible, but there's also some things people don't do unless they're financially invested, because that shows that they're actually invested. So the Your Business Peeps community is about practicing showing up who you are. It's about using your voice. It's about connecting with people. And I had like so many people in the free Facebook group that just joined and then did nothing.
Right.
So you can't build a personal brand by doing nothing. That's just not a thing. Even if some other fancy personal branding coach wants to tell you that you can create a personal brand in 2 weeks and then you're going to have all of the followers online and all, it's not a thing, you guys. It's just not a thing. You have to practice. You have to show up. You have to meet people. You have to do a thing. And so after running that community on Facebook, I think it wasn't quite a year, we transitioned it to a platform called Mighty Networks, which is a community creation platform. And it's not on social media specifically because then you get around the algorithms dictating what people see, and the members can actually choose what they want to see. And it was just, we charged for it. We were like, you know what? You want to come over here and actually do the thing? It costs $25 a month, right? If you can't spend $25 a month, which is what I spend at one trip to Starbucks, to do a thing that you say matters in your business, then you're not. That thing doesn't matter in your business. And I'm not offended that it doesn't matter in your business, but be honest with yourself, and it doesn't matter in your business. So it's a paid community, and it is all about people showing up and supporting other people and loving other people and creating a space. One of my core values is belonging. And there's lots of reasons we can talk about on a different day about why that is true. But for me, I believe every single person on the planet deserves to feel like they belong because they are who they are, not because they have to pretend to be something else. And so that's what we are like at Your Business Peeps. You're not.
How many
members?
How many members right now?
We have a beautiful 37 members right now.
37 members, and they're international, right?
They are international. So we have members in South Africa, Japan, lots in North America. So Canada and the US, the UK, one in Croatia, which is a little testy right now because of the tensions over there. But yeah, and even that though, like we had, so the gentleman that joins us from our community in Croatia, he went through the Croatia crisis when he was 7 years old. And he came and shared that with us in a networking event at Your Business Peeps. And everybody kept apologizing for talking so much. And everyone on the call was just like, tell us more. We want to learn more. This is some of the stories that people tell are stories they've never told another person ever.
Because they feel comfortable in their community.
Safe. Because we're all there. We're like-hearted. We're there to support people. And that's what we do.
Does anybody have any questions to Tracy about Your Business Peeps or anything else, or the fact that she spends $25 at Starbucks?
Yeah, what coffee are you drinking, Tracy?
Not just for me. We gotta have breakfast sandwiches and coffee, and like seriously, 2 breakfast sandwiches and 2 coffees adds up to like $20.
It's about
Canadian dollars.
Yes, that's about 12. So for us, it's $2 Canadian to the pound, so it's about £12.
Yeah.
Which part of Canada are you in at the moment, Tracy?
I'm in Canmore, so it's in Alberta, which is on the west side of Canada, but not the west coast.
Yeah, I know in Vancouver you can literally walk approximately 5 meters and you'll bump into a Starbucks. So you're safe.
Tim and I know Winnipeg. We've been there a number of times.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Do you know, I was going to make a similar comment myself.
we went when it was hot. It was only -17.
-17, yeah. Summer.
They all had shorts and t-shirts on, yeah.
Any questions while we've still got Tracy with us about Your Business Peeps or anything else?
Yeah, I'm interested to know what makes it different from other communities, because if you get anybody who knows about communities, you'll usually get them. They'll start talking about AOL and groups that they set up 20 years ago. what makes it different?
I mean, everybody can. I would bet every single member of Your Business Peeps probably says something a little bit different, because every human experience is unique. And what makes Your Business Peeps unique is that it's built on that principle, that we are not creating one specific experience for all people. We are creating a space for people to experience their experience and help them see that that is valid, that if they're having a hard time in their business, we have people who work in corporate, we have people who are entrepreneurs, everybody kind of like across the gamut, men, women, all over the world, like we said. And it's just, everybody's having their own experience. Everybody hears a specific piece of information and they interpret it a different way. And there's so much narrative in the world that is tied to, that's wrong, you can't believe that, I'm right, right? We get this fear of being wrong, so we don't explore thoughts and ideas like that. And so we don't do any of that. We are not here, Tara and I say this all the time, we're not here to tell you what you should do with your business, how you should show up. We are here to give you a playground to practice what feels authentic for you. Mm-hmm. And that's it, right? We will support you, we will celebrate you, we will commiserate with you, but we will not tell you what to do, because this world is built on too many other people telling you what to do. And all of the people in our community are people who are just like, they're done with it. They're done with being told with what they should do by someone else, and they want to explore what they would do.
Mm-hmm. We need to let you go back and enjoy your holiday before your family realize that you've nipped out to the car. Just in closing, someone's sitting there, just like you were sitting on that coaching thing, being told this is about, but make a community out of this, and you're thinking, no, I want to do something different. A couple of tips just for someone who's sitting there thinking, I think I've got an idea, I think I'd like to do something. What would you do? What would you suggest as a good idea tip for them?
Well, my favorite thing to say to everybody, all my clients included, is what would you do? So each of you on this call, each person listening today has a unique way that they would build a community. You've done that before in your life. You might have it in your family to some degree. You might have done it in school to some degree. You might have felt like you didn't have a community for some specific reason. So exploring why you want to have a community, and if it's because some coach told you you should, that's a bad reason. If you explore why you want to, and then base everything you do in that community off of that. So again, for example, with your business peeps, we were tired of being told about what to do. Everything we build our community on is based on not telling other people what to do. Otherwise, we're a hypocrite, right? We can't go and create a community and be like, oh, but you shouldn't listen to that person. You should listen to us instead, because that wouldn't be based on the values, the core values of the community. So understand what those core values of your community are and base everything you do off of that.
All right.
That's the mic drop moment. That's the mic. Time for breakfast. It was so good of you to join us. Thank you so much, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
And we'll see you again.
Thanks,
Good luck with your
everybody.
business, peeps.
Thanks, Tracy.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Thanks, everyone.
Wasn't that great? There you go. It's been done. Solid advice.
Yeah.
Solid advice.
Sorry,
And I
Nick,
think
you're
that might be Tara. That's Tracy's partner in that. So wasn't that great?
I think it is.
Yeah, it was great. And you know what? One of the things I loved about it was, you know what? You can have a community and it can be small,
Yes.
right? Community starts small
Mhm.
and then it grows. Okay, you can't be afraid to get something started. Well, that person's got 10,000 or 1,000 or
Who
whatever.
cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
I
One
think
becomes two.
that's particularly for what she does, encouraging people to be themselves and share their own experience. I think that being in a small community to start with is crucial.
Yeah.
So, anyone that has stood up in front of a big audience knows what a terrifying experience that is. It's one thing to stand up and speak in front of your business group where there are 20 people. It's something else to speak in front of 500 or 1,000 people. And actually to throw somebody in at the deep end and say, you've never actually spoken about your journey. You've never really engaged with people at a personal level. So here you are, you go out onto this platform with 1,000 other people. It's a great way to get people to lock up and not do anything. So I think
Nicely
starting
put,
small is
Tara.
really important.
Yeah, well put. Tara Argo, you might have the coolest name we've ever had on this show. That's a pretty cool handle. I like that indeed. So that was Tracy, and thank you so much to Tracy for coming on and sharing her story about actually saying, bugger it, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to make a community and makes it happen. Do you want to pull that little thread a little bit further, Rob? You've got something you'd like to share with us, Rob.
Love to.
Yeah, over to you, sir.
Today I want to share a post with you that I found by Jennifer S. I don't know Jennifer, so I couldn't tell you her last name. According to her byline, she is, among other things, a co-founder and a brand consultant. Jennifer's post highlights a CPG brand that is packaged goods targeted at consumers. Think something you'll find on a grocery shelf.
Right.
And this was built through community-led design. Of all things, they focused on breakfast cereal. And not just one cereal. They have an entire line of cereals designed by community. Now, two things came to mind when I think of a bunch of otherwise random people getting together to share their input around breakfast cereal design.
I love it.
For whatever reason, my mind first goes to a classroom full of kindergartners. Surely they're the ideal target audience for breakfast cereal. And the monstrosity that would come out of a brainstorming session with them. It would be fruity, frosted, and chocolate flavored. It would be all marshmallows and toys, of course. And because they want the milk to change colors like chocolate brown, pink, green, and rainbow, it would actually turn gray. Ew, I shudder at the thought. The other thought that comes to mind is the fable of Stone Soup. The story where a village starts with nothing, but everyone comes together to work collaboratively, each contributing what little they can. But what they contribute pairs well with what was donated before them. This post also left me with an example of an answer to a question that I've been pondering lately. We have so many examples of, quote, real world communities that have recently been digitized and brought online, like sales meetings and trade shows come to mind. But can you start with a digital community and bring it into the, quote, real world?
Oh,
Mr. DJ, I'm looking for a little fun, a little bit of nostalgia. And
That was sweet from hood to hood, from city to street.
play Breakfast Cereal by DJ Yoda featuring the great Biz Marquee.
it's on.
You like cereal, no matter who you are. You all like cereal. I like cereal. You like cereal, no matter who you are. We all like cereal.
Remember that time we all danced to "I Like Cereal, We All Like Cereal"? Remember that time? Rob, I look forward every week to your Mr. DJ requests. I think they're absolutely awesome. And yeah, fantastic. Well done. Well done. Community based around designing breakfast cereal. Awesome. I'm going to go to, if it's okay with you, and I think the recipient of this accolade that you're about to put out there is in the audience, Hayley Hudson. And I think, Nick, you've got something you'd like to talk about in regards to what Hayley's doing in her own digital community.
Yes, I would. Yeah, Hayley. If you don't know, Hayley is my PA. She is an awesome human being. Love you, Hayley. She is out there in the comments. But yeah, I have seen Hayley literally put blood, sweat, and tears, and I've spoken to her about it. She's confided in me, and I've watched her grow her community from scratch, and it's been amazing to watch. She wanted to build a space for to support VAs in the industry and ensuring that the admin industries kind of have had a go-to space where they could kind of learn off each other, collaborate and expand their network. And I think the reason Hayley's very good at it is she's very good at ascribing the value. So I guess people that are joining communities obviously want something back from it, whether that be kind of skills, friendship or a common goal, or just a space to share knowledge. What was she saying?
Don't be telling my secrets.
But I've seen her and I've watched how much effort. I mean, it's not, and I'm sure Tracy could probably attest to this as well. It's not an easy thing to do. Growing a community, it requires an awful lot of effort in that initial. And you've probably seen the same thing with Burrito as well, Eric. You kind of start and it's like, is anyone going to turn up? And then it slowly over time starts to expand and starts to grow as word of mouth gets bigger, and people go, come and check out this thing over here. So yeah, I just wanted to give a huge yeah, only my parents call me Nicholas or Hayley when she's in a foul mood with me. So that's what
you're getting today from Brentney as well. Brentney too.
But yeah, I've seen her put an awful lot of effort into growing that community, and it's just been lovely to watch the process. And I've learned a lot from the stuff that she's talked about in terms of kind of growing it. The kind of pitfalls and things to look out for. So. Yeah, it's been
if we are very lucky, maybe on a future digital download, we could get Hayley Hudson to come on and talk about some aspect of that community. Maybe not directly the community.
You could be the guest editor, Nicholas.
Oh, yes, that'd be great.
Nicholas, you could be Nicholas.
Nicholas, stop using that word.
You're going to sweat.
He says he only gets called Nicholas when he's on the naughty step.
That's it. All by my wife.
which means he's called Nicholas most of the time.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
exactly. No, thank you for that, and it's absolutely valid. Thank you so much. That's excellent. Timothy, seeing as we're going very formal with names, Timothy.
It's only my mother that calls me Timothy.
Tim, you had a piece of content that you wanted to put up which kind of like showed the beginning embers of perhaps community growth, didn't you?
Yes. If someone could share it for me, please, that would be great. It's in Slack. It's from Alex Munden. And the great thing of what I mean, the great thing that Alex is doing is that he's starting the process to build a community. Now,
yeah, so you're watching it in the infancy, right?
Yeah. So what I'm seeing is, there's a lot of talk about community, and what happens is that, here's someone got a community and it's got 10,000 people or whatever. Someone's got to start somewhere, and Alex is doing that. Now, the thing about Alex is that Alex is in sales.
Has someone managed to grab that post?
Yeah, I'm just
you got it.
About to share it now.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Okay,
Perfect.
great.
Here we are.
Well done.
So the thing about Alex is that Alex is in sales. Now, a lot of people that I know in sales will say, community, that's marketing's job.
Yeah.
And here's someone that's actually seen the benefit of creating a community. He's not monetizing it, but he's creating a community because he knows that what he needs is a digital territory.
Mm.
And this is a way for him to actually start building that digital territory, connect to people, have conversations with people, and ultimately some of those will lead to commercial interactions.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was doing in Dubai, sort of taking the lead on getting people together. Luckily, the person on the marketing team was a fan of what we were doing, so she was supporting the logistics and the preparation of it, because as it grew, it became hard work. But teams would often look at us and say, how on earth can you get so many people along to an event regularly? Well, for a start, we weren't calling it an event.
yeah, exactly. We weren't calling it an event.
Or a webinar.
Yeah. Or a webinar, yeah. Yeah, totally. So we've got we've got the sort of direct monetization of a paid networking thing, or the fact that the burrito, anything that we're creating communities around extends the conversation with people that can help our situation, right? Whether that's we're looking to have conversations about working together or doing projects together or whatever it might be. All these digital communities are improving situations, as Linwood said right at the top of the show.
Or it might be that what you'll have is you'll get a referral. Yeah. Because what you're doing is that you'll get, what we want to do in the digital space. We know that our customers are out there on digital. We want to be front of mind. How do we do that? Well, the people in our network, we may not be connected to them, but Kenny D may turn and say to somebody, do you know, you need to actually come and have a look at this because I think you really like it.
Yeah,
and,
totally.
And that's how you grow the community. The same with Annette Richmond saying, thank you. She needs to put it in a calendar. I mean, you don't know who.
That's another. Yeah,
absolutely. You don't know who Annette's going to talk to, and right. it just goes on.
Totally. Listen, Eric, how did you get from an event to burrito? Yeah, absolutely. Long story. It's a long story. But we'll maybe do a.
You were going to call it the evening event, weren't you? And then you decided to call it the breakfast burrito instead.
Exactly.
Wednesday's webinar.
Early morning business networking event. Yeah, big time.
Let's look at these ecosystems.
Take my money.
Take my money. Would anyone like an early morning business networking event mug?
Yeah, I'm all over that. As long as there was a breakfast at 6:00 as well with it, I'll be all over it.
Yeah, totally. Listen, guys, I just wanted to finish up on something really fun, linked to what Rob was talking about. Yeah, absolutely, David. Well spotted. This little show was about the power of digital community in itself. It's a digital community, and it's a digital community that's growing. So we wanted to explore all avenues of the concept of community, bringing it right through to what we can do digitally. I think we've all agreed that the idea is Tracy Borreson's the living embodiment of it. I'm not happy with what's been put in front of me in terms of forced community. I'm going to go off and do my own thing. You have the power to go off and do your own thing. If you have that bit of intellect, that bit of spark, if you have a social media account, if you have a webcam, and you've got a couple of mates, you can start to create the beginning little snowball at the top of the hill for a large movement. The internet is now doubling in size every 2 years, resulting in a 50-fold growth of content and data. Lots of this digital community embeds itself and is founded on content. The explosion of content that we're all seeing means that a lot of content is not being seen. And our limited attention spans means that we don't find what we're looking for immediately. If we don't find it, we just simply look elsewhere. So we have to provide something different that stands out, that grabs the attention and lets people anchor into it. So that is our little show about digital community. To finish off, I'd like to go back, if it's possible. Remember that show that we finished off by going around the team and asking them what their favourite breakfast cereal was? Do you remember that show? Rob, what is your breakfast cereal of choice?
I think Honey Nut Cheerios was my go-to for the longest time.
Honey Nut Cheerios was the go-to. Absolutely. Tim, have you got a favourite breakfast cereal?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to eat them because they're too. I love Crunchy Nut Cornflakes, but
Crunchy Nut Cornflakes.
Well,
Adam,
I can't eat them.
Well, I tend to be
sweet.
a muesli eater now, but for the joy I get from Cocoa Pops and the brown milk that you get as a result is unsurpassed.
this was worth the price of the ticket admission alone. This little 3-minute segment. Awesome. Adam Gray loves Cocoa Pops is a revelation.
He's cuckoo for Cocoa Pops.
No,
The joy from Cocoa Pops.
Do you put your ear to them?
No, that's only with normal Rice Krispies.
Yes.
Yeah.
You didn't know anything, Tim. You didn't know anything.
I've never had Cocoa Pops.
Alex, breakfast cereal of choice.
Yeah, my favourite is Jordan's. It's like a muesli, but there's nuts in there, but it's the
I know
honey
what you mean.
flavour. Do you know?
Yeah.
Yes. Favourite.
Yes. Linwood, sir?
You know, I had 3 breakfast cereals that I really loved as a child. But if I had to choose between those 3 breakfast cereals, I would have chosen Apple Jacks. Did you guys have Apple Jacks?
I don't know, but I'm so drawn into the way you're delivering this. Right
Any
now.
apple in it.
I'm so drawn into the way you're delivering this. It was like intense.
Yeah.
It was like a State of the Nation address.
Apple Jacks.
Apple Jack.
Guys, I gotta go get cereal.
And Nicholas.
I am a huge fan of. They are a game changer if you've never had them. Cinnamon Grahams.
Oh, very
It's
tasty.
like cinnamon toast on.
But that's a eat out of the packet. Cinnamon grahams for me. They're like a
they
snack.
are dangerous, dude. They're just like just give me a
Absolutely.
bucket, stick the whole thing in. Bosh.
I'm
good.
51 years old, and I'll never have a single bowl of cereal. I'll always have 3 cereals in the bowl.
So what are your 3? You haven't told us yet.
So there'll be Maltese or Shreddies. I love Shreddies.
Yep.
There'll maybe be a Weetabix in there. I've got the occasional thing for what's the shredded wheat. I like a bit of shredded wheat. I used to like old school Alpen.
Yeah,
Alpen.
yeah.
Loved Alpen. Loved
There's
Alpen.
tons of sugar in that stuff.
Yeah,
No
tons of
added sugar Alpen is the one you want.
Yeah, but I think fundamentally is are we Apple Jacks? Yeah, without a doubt. Are we ready to say goodbye? Because I'd like.
Well,
to,
we've actually got a joke. We've got a brilliant joke from Jess.
right.
We're serial offenders.
Oh!
Oh,
On that bombshell, I'm going to play out with Rob's tune. Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been an awesome show.
Thank you.
Tune in next week. There'll be a much better editor than I, and we will take it from there. But in the meantime.
Cereal, no matter who you are, they all like cereal. I like cereal.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
I like cereal.
Bye.
You